Vitor Martins dos Santos. I'm a professor for biomanufacturing at the Wageningen University in the Netherlands, the head of Dutch node of IBSBEC, and also managing director of LifeGlimmer GmbH in Berlin. And I'm actually under that head today here. So this workshop, I'll give a brief introduction to the topic, and then I will have two outstanding speakers today. So, of course, we all know of our societal challenges out there, petrochemical-based economy, a lot of pollution out there, microplastic, PFAS, deforestation for palm oils, waste, food security, sovereignty, and so forth. There are many societal challenges out there that we people believe that biotechnology can really contribute substantially to address them. Now, we have, of course, there are a lot of obstacles that actually still hinder the deployment of biotechnology. Bio-based economy has been there for 40 years, but in many cases, we are still not there yet. So we need to generate processes and ecosystems that will help us on it technically and non-technical obstacles out there. And this is what we want to address today. We've seen, of course, with the rise of AI, the developments, very fast AI developments and robotics and automation, that would actually ideally would like to go towards a world where we are able to generate any compound and a molecule or material or chemical that we are interested in for our daily lives. We want to do it not using plastic or oil as a base, but do it a la carte in a rapid fashion and in an economically viable manner through autonomous biomanufacturing, where we actually specify using AI and other methods what we need to do, and then you have robots that are connected to each other and produce compounds. This is well a vision people are having more and more closer to implementation. But how does it work? We tend to think of biomanufacturing, biotechnology as in a traditional way, a big chemical plant where we have, instead of chemical process, we have biological process going on, so-called centralized biomanufacturing. But that, of course, poses some problems. Say, if you have most of the chemical manufacturing is based on, say, oil, so it means that you have oil derivatives going through the pipeline into a big factory, and that is fine. You can transform them in multiple ways in, let's say, a digital ecosystem within the chemical factory plants. You can produce lots of compounds. But of course, if you want to do this with, say, potato peels or agricultural wastes, or red peat or whatever, then it's of course complicated, because potato peels, they don't go very well, they don't flow very well in the pipeline, say. Now, people are looking into different ways of addressing this. For example, on decentralized biomanufacturing, where we would have, let's say, mini factories or mini parts of factories in different locations at smaller scale, but closer to where the feedstocks are, say the potato peels, where the potato peels are, say the farmer associations, or close to wastewater plants or agriculture wastes. We have, of course, also distributed manufacturing, where we have actually production of certain compounds in different locations, and they are connected, for example, through digital twin. There are different ways and different configurations of addressing biomanufacturing. In addition to the centralized manufacturing we are used to. Now, all of these requires approaches, because it's not just say, well, we do it decentralized, or we do it distributed. I mean, this requires, of course, a lot of infrastructure out there, different infrastructure, different business models, and there are, of course, all kinds of hurdles. There are drivers, obviously. When does it make sense to use one model or the other? And what are the hurdles? Even if you want to use it, there are issues related to automation, interoperability, autonomy, the industrial ecosystems that are different, of course, because then if it's not centralized, most of the chemical industry has been there for 80 years, 100 years. It's very mature, and all the ecosystems that have been developed for that. If you have different production methods, these obviously requires not just the little factories, but the whole infrastructure and models behind that. So the industrial ecosystems, that is actually what we'd like to address today. That relates to logistics, regulatory and social aspects, societal aspects, business models, of course, and then the innovation itself. Now, today we have two very experienced and speakers from these areas. We have Professor Danilo Porro, and he will introduce himself a little bit, but he's a professor at the University of Milano Bicocca in Italy, and is also the national or Italian delegate for the configuration of food, bioeconomy, natural resources, and agriculture for the Pillar 2 of the Horizon Program 21-27. We will start with the end in mind. It is that the presentation. We're really excited to see him in a minute. And then following it, Professor Stephanie Breuring is Professor of Entrepreneurship and Innovative Business Models at the Ruhr University in Bochum, Germany. And there is also the academic director of the World Factory Startup Center at the same university. She will address the scaling up innovation systems in synthetic biology, biomanufacturing, looking into convergence, interdisciplinary, and complementary. So this is the setting of the seminar that goes today, and I'm really glad to have Professor Danilo Porro joining us from his vacation. So we are especially grateful to you, Danilo. Please go ahead and you can share your presentation.